everybody. Come on in. We're going to hang out for a little bit. I'm feeling celebratory, so I wanted to do a feed. Because I've come to think of you guys as my friends. Isn't that sad? I love hanging out with you guys. You guys are a lot of fun. Hopefully, you think I'm fun because I like hanging out with y'all. So come on in, hang out with me. I got some questions. Today is research day. I'm looking into about 5 various topics, doing research on for upcoming episodes of shows and things people have asked me to look into. There is so much I have to go through, but I've opened up more time in my schedule to do that. So I am catching up, and I've caught up a lot today. And I want to get into a lot of the stuff that I've looked into today and things I've gotten into and talk about them with you guys. I did a feed earlier today and asked a lot of the questions that I had come across during the course of my day of research. But I have more now. I have another page of questions, and I wanted to celebrate because paid off the computer. I finally paid it off. The guy said that there's a couple parts that are still on order and they should be in within a week, and then we'll have the new computer and things will start looking cooler. We'll have less lagging problems, less of that stuff. So I'm excited about that moving forward. That's going to be really cool, and I'm happy about that. But here are some of the questions that I have, and I want to hear from you guys and tell me what you think. But the very first question that I have, it relates to all the later questions, is do we even understand reality? Do we even understand what's going on in the world around us? Hey, Jeffrey. Hey, Cindy. Good to see you guys. If you're here, share it out. Get it out there. I want to do this feed as a thank you for everybody that chipped in. We did a fundraiser for that computer. So I'm really happy and excited, and I wanted to talk to you guys again because we finally paid it off and we'll have it within a couple weeks. So I'm excited about that. But like I said, it's research day and I have some questions. So if you are here, maybe we can explore them. There are some topics that are off limits. We'll still get into them, but they will shut a feed down in a second. You bring up the wrong topic. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's going to be kind of like Pee Wee Herman's show. Remember, there was the word, and if you say it, everybody screams. So it's only a matter of time before one of them is said. One of these words that if you say, they shut down your feed because truth is being killed in real time. This is happening. It's real. This is a problem that we need to address. It's not something that we should just let go. We should not go silent on this. This is important. This is a fight for the truth. We need to do all we can to protect it before it doesn't exist anymore. They are doing all they can to eliminate it. And anybody trying to spread the truth is shut down. So, since everything is a lie, and since we live in the age of deceit, do we really understand reality? Even if you're woke, do you understand reality? Can you? Everything is hidden from us. Everything. Everybody has to scream at Clinton. Clinton is the one that broke the rule. That's one of the words you can't say, Clinton. You can't get into that. For everybody that's watching on the other platforms that can't see the Facebook comments, uh, the word that Clinton said, the first name is Jeffrey. And if you say the second word, the feed will immediately be throttled. And the second word is Epstein. Everybody scream at me now. You're not supposed to talk about that. That's not supposed to be talked about. And that is reality. That's happening in reality. That is one of the most important stories right now. A huge sex ring that involved the elite, the powerful, those that run this world. We're all connected and tied into this. Royals, big names, linked in to Jeffrey Epstein. Story just goes away. The truth is being killed off in real time. This is happening. So, do we understand reality? Can we? Can we possibly understand reality? So, the rest of these questions, they all don't really have answers. I am a contrarian. I question everything. And I think you have to in this reality, in today's day and age. You just have to. Everything is a lie. This is the age of deceit. And they're hiding things like the Jeffrey Epstein story. They buried it, and they were told to bury it. They leaked on a hot mic. It leaked out that they had this story. What, 2, 3 years ago? They knew about this. They had photographic evidence and proof. Think about what that means. Think about what I'm saying there. They had proof. They could bring this to an end. They could stop it. The victimization of these girls. And that's just in Jeffrey Epstein's sex ring. There are much worse things going on that involve children. These were children. They need to talk about them like that too. They say women. It wasn't women. It was teenage girls, children. Now I'm totally banned. I'm probably in Facebook jail again because you can't talk about this. And that's why it's important to talk about it. I got sidetracked because I realized I just probably put myself in Facebook jail again. But so what? We paid off the new computer. I'm happy. I'm about spreading the truth. Before the feed gets throttled, let me mention the coup in Bolivia. That's something that I was asked to look into, and the more I look into that, the more disgusting it is. They have a democratically elected president that's very popular, the first indigenous president ever, and very popular with the people, has reduced the poverty level by a fifth. A lot of good he's done for that country. Military coup, removed from power, resigned. This guy sat at the same table as Trump and called out America on our imperialism and our how we dominate the planet and how we're not really for democracy. We wouldn't be taking part in all these coups like the one in Bolivia and participating in this stuff and undermining democracy all across the world. For years now, they've been trying to convince the average person that Russia rigged our election, when in reality, they rigged an election. They rigged a Democratic primary with the help of the mainstream media, all of it. The cooperation and help of the mainstream media, they rigged an election. The Democrats did, the DNC. And then they, for years, had been trying to tell you that Russia did it. For those of you in VK, we're streaming to VK now. That's a Russian social media site. I'm sure you know that. For years now, they've been telling the American people that Russia, that you rigged our election with memes. Ain't that crazy? That's crazy. So, in this web of lies, when everything is a lie, can you know? Can you know anything for sure? And with the truth being killed off, it's going to be harder and harder to know anything for sure. And it's going to be harder to find information. I find that out every research day. I am trying to research. Someone wanted me to research. Hold on, let me look. I got 3 pages of notes here. Corey Good. And I've been looking into he's I don't know how to describe him. Kind of philosophical. He claims to have spoken to alien life, 2 different alien races. But he talks about a lot of other things. When you throw that out there, it makes him sound crazy. But is he? Do we understand reality? What I asked this earlier, but I'll ask it again. What do y'all think about outer space? You know, um, for example, in Corey's research, we won't spend a lot of time on this. I got a page research. He says that there were secret space programs all the way back to the Nazis, that the Nazis had secret space programs. Well, I wrote notes all through his speech, the video that was sent to me uh, on Corey Good, and I researched it. The Nazis did have a space program. And whether they reach space or not kind of depends on your definition of where space is. But with NASA's definition of space, the Nazis were the first to space. So that's fascinating. And that's the mainstream accepted information, which is never all of the information. When you dig deeper, there's theories that they built bases on the moon, the Nazis. Isn't that crazy? I don't believe it, but there's theories that they did. But this guy, he says that there's that these alien races and even our secret space program, that Space Force already exists. So in his theories, there's interdimensional travel. They already have this. I'm just telling you what he's saying, but that's why he says it's possible that time and space don't matter. And again, I'm listening to this guy talk and I'm writing down all these questions and things I'm going to look into. I haven't finished, but I'm researching, looking into this stuff, some of the things that he claims. And I can't dismiss him because I am a contrarian. I know we're being lied to on a massive level. And when you're being lied to in that way, on that scale, how can you dismiss anything as crazy? Do you know that it's crazy? How can you know it's crazy? Jeffrey says it's not even close to just being one in the nonpartisan 1%. Those that lord over us, they'd fit in this room. I say that all the time, but it's true. They would fit in this room. But I'm going to move on to my next question. And did you notice that we were creeping up on like 11, 12 people at the feed, and then when we mentioned Epstein, it dropped to like 4, which I'm cool with. I just want to hang out with the viewers, but on Facebook, it's very funny to me. I've been paying a lot of attention to it. And the feed was creeping up. We were getting out there and getting some viewers, and then all of a sudden it just shut down. And that's funny because the whole thing isn't about Jeffrey Epstein, but that's a relevant story that you're not allowed to talk about. And Julian Assange is not a Russian asset. We might as well say that before the feed gets down to 0 viewers. Julian Assange is not a Russian asset. You're being lied to about Julian Assange too. See, we don't I don't think we can possibly understand reality. I don't feel that we do. I can't accept the establishment version of reality as reality. I know that they're lying to me at every opportunity and in every way. So I can't trust anything they tell me. So I have to get independent media and seek out the truth independently. But then, am I getting all of it? I can't be. I'm realistic enough to understand that I can't possibly be getting all of it. Plus, a lot of it's really hard to get at to begin with. Like, especially anything on taboo topics like vaccines. That's almost impossible to research. It's really hard. You have to really know where to look and you have to dig to research it. It's being buried. Another thing that's being buried that's on my list of questions is 5G. Real research on 5G is being hidden. Like if you do a Google search on 5G and the dangers of 5G, you will get pages of how it's not dangerous, but you got to really dig to get to the information where you find real research on it. And the question I have written down about 5G is, what if 5G is literally just a weapon? What if it has nothing to do with faster download speeds, and better technology? What if it is literally just a weapon? I believe that they would use something like that. And a lot of the things that have been disclosed in the research done on 5G, which there hasn't been much of, there's no funding for any research that may result in negative information being released about 5G. There's no interest or funding in that. It's being shut down. But the real research that has been done into 5G shows it to be very dangerous. And this radiation that we'll be exposed to, the signals from 5G, very dangerous in tests. And there's been very limited tests done, but they've tested it on these rats, and they had 70% increase in tumors, as well as problems with fertility and sterility. So what if it is to trim our numbers, to cut the fat? What if 5G is literally just a weapon? So 2 people left standing on Facebook. I'm going to see who's here on YouTube because I think I'm in Facebook jail again, but comment anything you guys want to talk about. We're just asking questions. This is just questions. I don't know that 5G is literally just a weapon. I'm saying, what if it is? I'm saying it ain't outside the realms of possibilities. Isn't that messed up? It's not even a crazy thought. What if it's part of or how they plan to wipe us out? And we won't even know the dangers of it for years. The real dangers. You're already exposed to these frequencies, the different frequencies, and they're already affecting your mood, affecting a lot of things. And we don't know fully everything that they're doing, the things we're already being exposed to. This is going to be much more exposure. A lot of people don't realize that they got to put 3 times many towers up that currently exist for 5G. 5G requires a lot more towers, and the towers have more antennas on them. A regular cell antenna has like 15 antennas. A 5G antenna has 150. And they can put them anywhere. There's even little ones they can put on street signs. They will literally be everywhere, and they want them to be global coverage of 5G everywhere. And so we're going to be exposed to it. It's coming. There's nothing going to stop it. We need to prepare as much as we can. And really the only way you can prepare for it is informing yourself, because we're going to be exposed to it. The government is rolling it out as fast as they possibly can. It's completely greenlit. There is nothing stopping it. And 5G is a weaponized frequency. The military currently uses 5G as a weapon. This is true. It is a fact. And who knows the dangers? There's been pictures leaked out on social media, that you can look up, of piles of dead bees under these 5G towers. Frequencies affect all life, and it's dangerous what's coming. It scares me. And I really think we're going to have a lot of explaining to do to future generations on what we allowed to happen for convenience, for faster cell phone downloads. I think 4G is fine, and we're already being exposed to dangerous frequencies. We really don't need to be exposed to God knows what for the small benefit of faster download speeds. I don't feel. I think we give up a lot for convenience, and we're talking about huge risks to our health that we don't fully understand. But what do you guys think? Is 5G literally just a weapon? Or is that a crazy thought? These are just questions. Another question that I had, and this comes from a Joe Rogan bit, is what put it in my head. But what would happen if the power grid was taken out? How long do you think it would take man times? What do we really know how to do as far as surviving goes without the power grid? If the power grid was taken out, what would happen? What do you think? Because there's something that could happen, you know? What if it was to get wiped out and everything just went dark? I think I'm going to turn Facebook off because it's bothering me that there's only two people here. If you're one of the two people here on Facebook, share this everywhere you think it's relevant. We have other questions that we'll get into, but if it was the Jeffrey Epstein thing that made them throttle the video, let everybody see that. Everybody needs to see it. You can't stop this powers that be and algorithm. You can't stop it. The truth is happening. It's spreading. It's people are waking up. The mass awakening is already in progress. It can't be stopped at this point. There's nothing that you can do to shut it down. You can throttle these kind of videos. You can shut down speech and all of that. But I think it's too late. I think they know that we're waking up, and I think it's too late for them to stop us. At least it has to be. Because there's no way to stop them from shutting us down. I was letting it really bum me out, and I've had to come to terms with it, that I can't do anything about it. I can't. I'm trying to push through and all that, and it's not working. So I cut back my shows. I'm going to cut back on how often we stream. This was special because I just paid off the computer today. I literally just paid the guy today, and I'm excited. And I'm doing research, and I can't stay off of here on research day because I just have all kinds of questions. But this is one that somebody wanted me to look into, and I'm going to ask it real quick. Do you think that the RFID chip is already in us? I have had people wanting me to cover, multiple people wanting me to cover the mark of the beast and the RFID, and that it is already in us, that has been inserted into us through vaccines and through chemicals in the air, minerals and metals in the air that they've released through chemtrails, etc., and aerosols and such on, and in the water, and it's just been pieced together like the liquid terminator in our bodies, and it already is there, and that we are basically a walking transmitter, and we already have the mark of the beast, RFID. Another question, just a question. And I'm like, as a contrarian, I can't rule anything out. And as a host of a conspiracy theory show, I'll cover anything anybody asks me to cover, but some of these are very interesting questions. And it's kind of hard to research them, you know, because try researching chemtrails pre 1985, you know, and I'm making up that year, but they used to talk about geoengineering in the media. Even they would brag about being able to steer hurricanes. Weather manipulation and weather control is real, exists. It exists and it is real. Look up HARP, HAARP. That is how do I explain it? It's a field of these antennas, and they can tamper with the ionosphere and manipulate the weather. And there's other ways they control it too. And they used to talk about it. There was a scientist that would get on and basically carry on like he was God, that he could steer hurricanes. But they would talk about it. It was known that they did it. But now They want to act like it's not even a real thing, that there's no such thing. Although it leaks out here and there, and it's in things. Like if you look into Agenda 2030 and the plan for uh, what the elites plan for moving forward in the future, they talk about doing it. And then, in the research I've been doing on NASA, there's evidence that one of NASA's biggest things that they focus on is the sun and solar flares. And they're open about geoengineering on their website, even, and talking about how they're wanting to improve our protections from these exposure to solar rays, for example. It, but you're treated like an idiot for saying, well, maybe they do it. All right, well, they've done it. You're not crazy for saying it, but you are shut down for saying it. And I don't know, maybe the new computer wasn't the way to go. Maybe the way to go was to get a ham radio, a shortwave radio, and set up out in my shed and spread the truth that way. Because that may be where we're ending up, you know, especially if something like the power grid going down was to happen. It's exactly where we'd end up. We'd be spreading truth on shortwave radios in the age of information, when we all have a computer in our pocket and are literally walking cyborgs. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. It's unacceptable. Can't accept this as reality and let it happen. We have to fight back against what's happening. It's very important, crucial even, that we fight back. Let me see. Here, real quick, I'm just going to ask this. This is an advice question, has nothing to do with anything else. Gaia, the channel or the video channel Gaia, it's a paid site. Is it worth it? It's not that expensive, but is it worth it? Like, am I gonna exhaust its content in like 2 months? Or because I watch a lot of videos, or is there a ton of content and it's just really great? I've been told they have a couple great shows, and I'm interested in trying it, but I don't know if it's worth it. So if you watch Gaia, let me know if it's worth the subscription fee, if it's worth the door price. Because if it is, I'm going to check it out and look into it. Because I love truth, and I love any kind of truth, and I love exploring different ideas, and it sounds like a really cool network. But what did we ask already? We asked about the RFIDs. We asked what would happen if the power grid was taken out. I'm not getting any comments, though. Facebook is down to no viewers. There's no one here on Facebook at all. And I know it's because we brought up the bad word and we said the bad thing you're not allowed to say. And that's fine. I'm probably in Facebook sharing jail again. That's fine too. I really don't care at this point. I can't allow it to occupy my thoughts anymore because I'm obsessing over it. And there's no reason to. We just need to do all we can to spread the truth and keep the truth out there and keep asking questions like this because I don't think we fully understand reality. I don't think we can. You know, I don't think there's any way for us to. Everything's a lie, you know. How do you find truth when everything's a lie? Where do you go for truth? Hey Cindy, good to see you. I'm glad to see some more people coming in on Facebook. It dropped down to 0 on Facebook and kind of had me worried. But something else that somebody wanted me to research, and I looked into it a little bit. There's so much, by the way. Hey Liz, I just saw your little face come up on the like. Good to see you here. Liz has sent me a ton of stuff, and I'm getting ready to open that Pandora's box today too. but there's a ton of it, and it's on GMOs, and I really want to learn. So I got to get into it. I'm going to set aside like a few hours tonight for that. But this one is fascinating too, and this is, did giants walk the earth? What do you guys think? Did giants ever walk the earth? This person that has sent me this stuff about giants walking the earth has sent me a lot of videos, and I haven't really looked through them all yet, but about evidence of huge skeletons being found. And I've seen this in other research and other topics. I've seen this. I just don't know if it's true, because I've also seen it said that it's used, uh, that techniques like perspective and photographic techniques are used to make it appear that these are large skeletons. But I don't know. I have to look into it. I have to look into it more. What do y'all think about, did giants walk the earth? And do you think that's an interesting subject to cover on a conspiracy theories and chill moving forward? And what else? Here's another question, and this kind of ties into what we were talking about at the beginning about the Corey Good stuff that I've been asked to look at, and I am looking at, and I want to cover it. I'm gonna cover it because I was asked to, but it's so complicated. It really is complex. I'm gonna go back to that page of my notes. But this is something that I wrote down that I have to look into today to find out if this happens, and maybe somebody's here that knows. But during an earthquake, Corey talks about the ground can liquefy, and he shows pictures of this phenomenon. Does anybody know about this? Yeah, Clinton Corey Good. I was asked to look into his research, and I've been looking into him today, and some of it is very interesting. I got a whole page of notes here, and one of the things I want to look into about this is the Carrington event, and then the secret space programs. We talked about that a little bit at the beginning, because he gets into the fact that there already exists secret space programs outside of NASA, that they existed before NASA, and they practice in interplanetary travel already. That's in his research, and that's what I'm going through and looking at. But he ties it into all kinds of stuff. Like he ties it into the Mandela effect, and it got me wondering. Like in my notes, I wrote down. That's why I asked it, and that's been the kind of the theme today. Is, do we even understand reality? Can we even understand reality? I'm not saying I agree with Corey Good's research so far. I don't know enough about it to agree with it. I can get into what I've written down, but that's just from two different talks I've watched. I can't speak on it for real, but I can briefly speak on what he says. And Clinton says tied to CERN. I don't know. Not that I've seen him say. He may speak on CERN, but the conversations that I've been able to find online, the talks, he didn't speak on CERN in those. So that I don't know. But he talks about a secret space program, and that NASA was started to research uh, solar flares and phenomenon with the sun, because that's how they feel we'll be wiped out. And then he gets into all these religious texts and talks about how all religions have these prophecies of the end times where humanity is being wiped out by fire. Well, what he's saying that is solar energy, solar flares wiping out humanity. And he says that's how Earth will meet its end. And that he was told that by these alien species, the Anshar and the blue avians. So I wrote all this down. I'm going to research it. But the liquefaction of the Earth during an earthquake, I'm fascinated to find out if that's real. That's on my list of things to find out today. But trying to find stuff out is hard. Looking for real information, because I haven't looked into the liquefaction of the Earth phenomenon. But let me briefly explain what it is. So, like in the picture he shows in the talk I watched of his, there is a car that is half in the ground, half not, like in grass. Like you poured concrete around the car, but it's earth. And what he's saying happened is during this earthquake, the car sunk into the earth because the earth literally liquefies like quicksand during a severe earthquake, or it can. And it's just what happened in this picture. But in the age of Photoshop, who knows what I'm looking at? So I got to look into it. I got to find out um, if there's anything to that at all. But that's just one thing I'm researching today. There's a lot I'm looking into. Like I said, I got to get to things that Elizabeth has sent me on GMOs, a lot of great stuff there. I've been looking into the coup in Bolivia, disgusting stuff there. Um, and our fingerprints are all over it. This guy who led the coup has connections to the CIA. There's all the regular evidence is there that we were behind this. And the leader, Evo Morales, who resigned after being, well, asked to by the military, but it was a military coup. You know what I mean? He's in hiding. Mexico has offered him asylum, but they've already arrested members of the government, and it's just disgusting what's going on there. But he won the election, and there's no evidence of rigging in the election, but he's stepped down. He has resigned. And I'm looking into that. I got to find more information. It's really hard to find good information on this story, on any story. Like, for example, um, I wrote it down. There was something else I wanted to get into. Oh, looking into because Corey gets into stuff like time travel and interplanetary travel, stuff like that, which Tesla also talked about in his writings. It's hard to find anything on that stuff. It's just, and that's another reason why I was thinking about getting the Gaia subscription because they do shows on that, but I don't know how reliable the information is. Again, like even in the age of information, you got to check and recheck everything that you find. You know, I don't want to. I want to try and cover it as objectively as possible. So that's why I am asking you where you get your information. A lot of you are very informed, and a lot of you have sent me really good stuff. And one of you recommended Gaia, so I may go ahead and sign up for it. But I'm cheap and I'm poor, and this is already a money pit. This is a money pit. Like I have this Be Live service so that I can do interviews, and that's $30 a month. Then this service to stream to multiple sites is another 10. Then you got lighting and computers and all kinds of stuff. It's a money pit. But I love doing it. Hopefully you guys like watching it and you dig it. But we're doing a conspiracy theories and chill show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central. And the topic is Ruby Ridge. And that's another thing I'm working on today is the Ruby Ridge video. We're going to get into that and explore that. And that was a disgusting chapter in our country's history where our government was used against a regular family and they raided their own property and killed 3 members of the family. And we're going to get into that story tomorrow night on Conspiracy Theories and Chill. And that's a weekly conspiracy theory show that we do where we hang out and talk about conspiracies. And this isn't a conspiracy. Ruby Ridge actually happened. It's just hidden truth. So that's another thing we get into on Conspiracy Theories and Chill. Like we've covered MK Ultra. MK Ultra is real. That actually happened. Elizabeth says, I used to belong to Gaia, but decided it was not worth the money on a fixed income. See, that's what I was wondering. Because I don't have a fixed income unless being poor is a fixed income. You know, I live paycheck to paycheck. So I guess I'm kind of on a fixed income. And it's not that expensive. I think it's like $5 or something. But $5 is $5. And if it's not worth it, then I don't want to pay for it. Like I don't know how much good content they have. Or maybe I could just do a few months and soak it all up and then leave for a few months, then come back like you kind of do with HBO. You know, use it for a little while and then leave. and then come back. But do y'all think that interplanetary travel is possible? Time travel? I'm sure there are things going on and things that exist and happen that we don't know about. That I know for sure. And I'm sure that they're much more technologically advanced than they've ever told us or ever let on. That I also know for sure. But do you think that they are traveling through the universe and traveling from galaxy to galaxy like something out of Star Wars? Do you think that's going on with secret space forces? Elizabeth says $9. Oh, it's more than I thought. Some of it's interesting, some very unusual stuff. It looks interesting. Like the promos are cool. It's piqued my interest multiple times. And then doing this Corey Good stuff, the guy that sent me this, Herbert, he said that I should get it. And Ginger said had to clean snow. I saw the pictures. Isn't that crazy? You live in Michigan though, right? Michigan? I guess it's not as crazy for you, but what happened to fall? Where did fall go? I live in Missouri. We skipped fall altogether. There's snow on the ground here. Nothing like what you shared pictures of, only a few inches, but still, what happened to fall? I love fall. Fall and spring are my favorite seasons. And by the way, Ginger, since you're here, Ginger helped with the fundraiser for the computer. Paid it off today. Paid off the computer today. The guy's going to finish it up, and there was a couple more parts that hadn't been received yet. And in a couple weeks, we'll have it. But paid it off in full today. So I'm excited about that. 10 inches of snow in one day. Yes, in Michigan. 10 inches. Man, we're going to have a brutal winter, I think. I'm not gauging that on anything, but we're going to have a brutal winter. I'm no meteorologist, but the signs are all there. But let's see. I've went through my list of questions. We could go back through it. I didn't really get any answers. I was talking on Facebook for a while, but there was no comments. It was weird because there was people here, but nobody was commenting. Now there's comments. Elizabeth says Texas has no fall either. I started missing it about 10 years ago. Our Weather Engineering Bureau is very active here. Oh, they are. And we talked about that too. That's real. And Elizabeth has sent me a lot of information on that too. And I just don't know how to get into it. I don't know how to cover it. There's so much there. And it's, like I said, used to be talked about. There were scientists that would brag about it in the media, that they could do things like that and manipulate and change the weather. And there's patents for it that exist and evidence everywhere that it's real, but people will treat you like you're crazy, you know? Even if you're talking about something like HARP, which is, they say they don't use it anymore, but it's real. You can look it up and they tell you what it's for. It's for weather modification, weather manipulation, to mess with the ionosphere. That's what it's for. Ginger says, been brutal here for 2 weeks this early. That's crazy. Yeah. And I know that that's being orchestrated. You know, they try to sell you on this climate change stuff, and they don't want to take any responsibility for what's being done. There's so much happening. There's, and even trying to stay informed, you know, I work a regular job like everybody else. And my job usually has mandatory overtime. So I work like 6 days a week. Then I do this part time. I mean, I try to stay real informed. It's very hard. It's very hard. And that's why I asked, do we really know anything? Like, can you even really know anything? Like I do these shows professionally now, and I'm trying to be professional about it. But can you be an expert? Is it even important to be an expert? Is it enough to know that you're being lied to on a massive scale? Sometimes I don't know. Ginger says Elizabeth is a warrior. She goes all in on what others avoid. Absolutely. Elizabeth said on weather engineering, start with government information where they talk about it. Well, but nobody wants to listen to it. Like I did, maybe I should do another one now that I've grown a little bit more of a following, but I did a video on harp once. No views really, no interest in it, and people would challenge me even on something where you can look into what they say it's for. And they say they don't use it anymore, but I don't believe that. And it's not the only thing like it that exists. And they used to talk openly about cloud seeding and weather manipulation. And like I said, even being able to steer hurricanes. They hide it now. And I almost feel like I need to have so much information on it that I'm literally like a scientist in order to speak on it. Because you get attacked from every angle, you know. It's not being afraid to speak on it. It's just wanting to be super informed. So that's what giving myself this extra research time is going to do. And just just today, like 2 feeds worth of questions came out of this extra research time. So I'm getting a lot done. I'm looking into a lot of things. I just have a lot of things to look at, which is great. It's always great to have more of something than less. Like I'd rather be too busy than not have anything to do. So I got plenty to look at, plenty to look through. And Ginger, since you're here and while you're still here, I want to get into the Five Eye Susie Dawson stuff today too. But I tried looking through the thread of me and your discussion, and they're gone. The videos are gone. There's other videos that you've sent me in there, but not the Susie Dawson stuff. I'm gonna look it up, and I haven't even tried yet. But I'm going to look it up on Facebook and YouTube. I'm not sure exactly where it comes from, the source, but I've seen it shared in both places, so I'm going to look both places. But Ginger says, same with Assange, which I focus on as much as I can, attacked. You can't, they just won't let you speak on it. I tried speaking on Assange, and they shut you down. I'm not going to stop trying. I'm not going to stop talking about it just because you're not supposed to, but what do we do? Um, Elizabeth's here, very active in truth. What do we do when truth is literally being killed off? I mean, what I'm doing is getting frustrated and swinging at the air and trying as hard as I can to push through, but that's not doing anything. I don't know what to do. Is real is the reality of the situation. I don't really know what to do. I just am scared, honestly, that the truth will literally be killed and eliminated if we allow it to happen. And I worry that that's what we're doing by turning a blind eye to it. But um, is there anything you guys want to talk about before we wrap up? Anything else you want me to look into? Because I asked all the questions I wanted to ask in this feed. I want your opinion on certain things and then how to look at them and angles I may not have even thought of. Because I want to get to as much of the real truth as I can, which always lays somewhere in the gray area, you know. And I hope that we keep the truth, and I hope we do all we can to defend it and keep spreading it. That's what I'm going to try to do. That's the purpose of all these little shows that I do and these feeds that I do, is to spread the truth. Elizabeth says, start your intro with very innocuous verbiage like we're going to discuss cute kitties today. You know, I've done a feed called Pet and Kittens just as an experiment, and it worked. I pet my kitten for like an hour. I was really sitting here petting a kitten and talking about different things, and it seemed to work. I don't like giving videos a title anymore. You know, I follow True Stream Media, and they said that they stopped tagging their videos because it makes them easier to suppress, makes them easier to hide and throttle. But I've tried doing them with no title. I've tried doing them with weird titles. It don't seem to matter. I think the computer picks up on certain words when you say them, and then from that point on, your video's throttled. They've got it down to a science, and we're up against a lot. But I'm doing all I can to punch through and come out on different platforms and do different things to get the truth out there. But you keep doing that too, and we'll get through. We will wake people up. The mass awakening, I think, is going to win. We are going to win. We are winning. This is what it looks like. They're fighting us as hard as they can. They're trying to silence us, but I think it's too late. I hope so anyway. But thanks for watching. And Ginger shared me a link. Thank you, Ginger. I appreciate that. Elizabeth says also congratulations. It shows up in red and throws off the algorithms. I almost named this feed congratulations because it was a congratulatory feed. We finished paying off the computer today, and I'm excited about that. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll be back at 7 for the Daily Burn. And see you tomorrow night for a new episode of Conspiracy Theories and Chill at 8 p.m. Central on Ruby Ridge. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me.